the coolest thing ever is coming back from Christmas break and seeing like 10 plus girls at the program that I work with get her shoes for Christmas. And
That's
they say,
cool.
I want that shoe. I
That's
want
cool.
Sabrina's shoe. And I'm like, what? Like, that's the coolest thing.
Yes, hey, I might send the game like a free throw. I love when she talking the lingo. Wanna fuck on the freako. She says she bringing the Tito's. We hacking the game like a Chico. I'm a monster, it's time for the beast mode. Cracking your skulls like Debo. Straight to the strip, all singles. They peeping straight through the peephole. You a lame, you a dork, and bimbo. Oh yes, sir. Oh yes, sir. It's your boy Twan. We back with another episode of the OffTopic podcast. This is episode 13. Today, we have a special guest today. I would like to introduce my close, dear friend, Jay Taft. Thank you for coming on the episode with me today.
Yes, what's up? I'm so pumped.
Awesome. So if you guys don't know, this is my homegirl, Jay. We've actually done a lot of work together with film. She's doing great things out there in California. So definitely I will be putting her information in the caption and everything so you guys can check her out. But for this episode 13 for this podcast, I just wanted to switch gears. I know the title of my podcast is Off Topic, so what better way to get off topic from what I normally talk about with that I normally speak on than having you on the episode. But not only that, just our focus is going to be just WNBA, women's basketball, and just everything about that as a whole. But before we get right into it, I just wanted to ask about just coaching. I know you have, opportunities in coaching younger girls. Just how has that been, just coaching in general for, being able to speak game to younger kids and younger girls? How's that been?
Totally. Yeah, no, it's so fulfilling. It's one of those things that um you have like it's like a high reward, where you you might have a tough practice, right? Or even a tough week of practice or training or whatever, but once like your girls either like win that big game or accomplish that skill that they've been really like stressed about, and you see like the smile on their face, or you see that like the confidence kind of grow, it's like it's so rewarding. And so coaching is like it's the one thing I will say about coaching is I didn't realize how mentally exhausting it would be from switching from player to coach. I thought I was mentally exhausted as a player. Nope. As a coach, I was way more mentally exhausted, but it makes it worth it.
That's
Long
cool.
story short.
No, that's cool. What I was gonna ask too. What is the age group though that is like that you actually coach with?
Yeah, I'm K through 12 essentially.
Wow. Oh
Yeah,
my
I'm
gosh.
all ranges of the spectrum of age when
Well,
it comes
now,
to that.
okay, so I was given the opportunity to coach just almost a year ago now, and the group of young boys that I had, or I guess no, it was young boys. They
Mhm.
were about, I would say about 7 to like 9 range. So there was like I
Mhm.
couldn't really like coach like how I would probably want to coach at a kid, but it was more of a
Yeah.
different. It was a different perspective, being able to just
Mhm.
watch the kids be able to find their own way in the sport too, and find their own way of like their own game, especially when
Mhm.
it's in an atmosphere of not like you're trying to harp down on them. It's just more fun. I think that's been so much fun. But I was gonna say,
Yeah.
like, what difficulties have you found though with just trying to make sure that you're not, I don't know, overstepping anything, but how has it been, or what difficulties have you had with coaching though, if there is any?
Yeah, totally. Honestly, like, well, one of the difficulties that I had was going from a practice where I was coaching sixth graders and then immediately like leaving that practice, driving to my high school team and kind of switching gears and really trying to find that balance of they're sixth graders and like yes, do I hold them to a standard of excellence, and should they be pushed and should they not get away with things? Absolutely. But there's also too a point where I'm like, no, I need them to still love the game,
Yeah.
and it's not about the wins and the losses. And to be honest with you, one of the most difficult things that I've had when it comes to coaching is allowing the girls, or not me allowing the girls, but the girls allowing themselves to make the mistakes and feel like they can. The area that I live in is standardly like a very high achieving um, place.
Yeah.
And so the parents honestly are some of the most difficult aspects of it. And I love my parents. Like as people, I love them and I adore them, and I've been able to build like really solid relationships. But almost finding the balance of okay, the parents are super hard on these girls, and then I
Mm,
don't want to be super, super hard on them and just make basketball a tough experience. So finding that balance of me being coach, but also me being a sounding board for these girls honestly has been a difficult thing. And that's more when we get older.
Yeah.
I coach a little third grade team right now, and the parents are wonderful. Like, they are laughing. We're getting beat by like 40 points because we're playing up. We're like these little third graders playing third and fifth graders. And I just try to tell the girls, we're not looking at the score. We're not
Mm-hmm.
looking at that. Did we get better? And the parents are on board with it. And to be honest with you, it's been the most fun season I've ever had. We're going to get beat by 40, and then my
It's
girls are
okay.
playing Uno on the side, or they're playing like musical chairs. You know, you saw on the Instagram
Yeah.
post. And I'm like, yes, keep this joy. Because at one point, I didn't have that joy playing. And I want these girls to have that innocence and that joy for as long as possible. So, yeah, I don't know if that answered it,
No,
but
no, that was
that's all
perfect.
I know.
I definitely feel that way as well. I feel like sometimes when you at least when it comes to basketball, when you love basketball, everything else doesn't seem like a chore. It seems like it's a part of it. It's a part of the game. Like the working out, the practices, and everything else like that just falls into it because it's a part of the game. So yeah, so just I think the coaching is dope. I do want to switch gears when it comes to just the WNBA. So I know in the last few years we've had some young stars in WNBA and in college right now. To
Mm-hmm.
speak of Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Juju, Sabrina, like we got some dogs, some young
Yeah.
dogs in the in WNBA in college basketball. And I guess my question is for you, or just your opinion on it. But like, what do you think is the next step though for the NBA or the WNBA? What is the next step for the WNBA and where they can take it to the next level? What do you think that is?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, I think you're just starting to now see like celebrity status when it comes to the women players compared to like, the NBA. Like, I mean, when I was younger, I had posters of like Shaquille O'Neal like
Mm-hmm.
up on like and all these things. And then when I got a little bit older and really realized like the WNBA, I remember I had to print out pictures of
Mm-hmm.
Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi, and I remember my dad actually put them up in our garage because that's where we'd work out. And my dad would say like, "Oh, my sister reminds of Sue Bird, and I remind of Diana Taurasi." Like, so that was like the coolest thing, right? Where you get,
Okay.
"Oh my gosh, like what?" Even though it was dad saying it, but that was cool. But I had to print the photo out. I didn't have a poster, so that's huge. Now these young girls are able to follow them on social media and get a real look into their life, and I think that that's like a huge step that the WNBA and honestly NCAA or just college basketball in general and high school.
Yeah.
I currently live around some of the bigger high schools that compete nationally, like you were like Jada Williams, like she played at a school pretty close, and like things like that. And so you're actually able to like see, oh, they're close to me, they're in proximity, I can go to these games, or I can watch these games online now.
Mm-hmm.
Girls are coming out with like merchandise, so we're able to actually buy their jersey now. So like the next step for the WNBA is just like recognition and more eyeballs on the game, because again, me and another friend, we talk about this all the time. Like, we didn't have that. We didn't like We would see them maybe on ESPN every once in a while, or
Right.
like I grew up in Indianapolis, so I was able to watch the Fever all the time. So I was in close proximity. But like, other girls growing up who lived in maybe like Kentucky, or even Florida,
Right.
like things like that, they don't have WNBA teams. So being able to be worldly recognized and honestly on like a celebrity kind of influencer status has been freaking huge for the
Yeah.
WNBA.
I and just to touch on that as well, just I think the biggest thing you said was just social media. I think that's been a big difference
Yeah.
in, I guess, the modern era of just NBA and WNBA, but mostly in WNBA to be able to, look up Caitlin Clark highlights, seeing her shoot from all the way over here, and like that's been
Yeah,
so
yeah,
cool
yeah.
to see, and like even just seeing her posts and like her interviews and just saying how her
Yeah.
being she finds it so important to be able to influence the young girls and like they have somebody to look at now, and I think that's just so cool.
Yeah.
Recognition's always
Well,
been something
yeah.
for y'all, but yeah.
Well, even like going like off of that, like even talking about like Sabrina right now, like the coolest thing ever is coming back from Christmas break and seeing like 10 plus girls at the program that I work with get her shoes for Christmas. And
That's
they say,
cool.
I want that shoe. I
That's
want
cool.
Sabrina's shoe. And I'm like, what, like that's the coolest thing. And then also too, like it was really cool because I actually got the opportunity to work for Nike and I modeled the shoes
That's cool.
that came out.
That's
and
awesome.
and so it was really cool because they were like, as they're trying to buy the shoe, they're like, is that Coach J or whatnot? Like, so it was like the coolest thing, but it was really cool to like be kind of a part of that process from a like a just putting the shoe on and getting a photo
Yeah.
taken to now stepping into practice, and those girls want those shoes. They're like, Sabrina, are going into club games and they're wearing all the different colorways of these shoes, so they're buying like her shorts or those things. And I know other women are coming out with their own merch, or like, you know,
Hmm.
different, like I know like Skylar Diggins is with
Yeah.
Puma. I think there's some people with Adidas, and like I can't remember who it was. It was Kiki. I think it was Kiki. Today just revealed a shoe I think she worked on with Jordan. I could be wrong, but I know she was part of revealing a shoe. So it's like, oh, now it's like instead of buying Jordans or Kobe's or LeBron's
Right.
or Giannis's, it's like I get Sabrina.
That's
You know what I
cool.
mean? I
That's so
get
cool.
Skylar Diggins shoes, and I'm like, that's been like the coolest thing. I wish I had that when I was young. And
Hmm.
so seeing these girls be excited about WNBA player merch has been like the coolest thing ever.
That's cool because I think sometimes the most important is like leaving something for the next generation, and I think that
Hmm.
they are going in the right direction, especially in just saying that. Just like I think I did see someone wearing some Sabrinas in the WNBA or in the NBA, and I was like, man, that's so cool. Like the support is just sometimes that's
Hmm.
all you guys are asking too, and I just think that's just so cool. Just to see everyone
Yeah.
is really putting more commitment on that side of it. So actually, this kind of goes into like my next question though. It's
Mhm.
really is where do you see the WNBA 10 years from now? I know we're in a very positive place, but where do you think that 10 years from now, roughly, what do you think the WNBA would look like?
Oh, totally. I just think it's gonna grow. I think we're gonna start seeing one stadiums being way more full. I
Mm,
think we're getting there.
yeah,
Um, because there definitely are games that get full for sure. So I think though, but from like a more of a consistent scale, because again, you're gonna have people like Angel Reese or
yeah,
Caitlin Clark or Paige Beckers or Kiki
yeah,
Rice, Juju, all of them that we're watching right now in college. They're gonna be in the WNBA.
yeah,
So now it's just gonna translate. You know, we're gonna have now just I'm just now following them, whatever WNBA team they're with or
mm-hmm,
whatever, and then we're gonna have players like that just constantly circling through high school to college to WNBA. So, with the help of social media and the help of more streaming, we're going to fill seats. I think 100%. I also think there's going to be more teams.
yep,
Like, I know that Golden State, they're having a branch of the WNBA that's coming, I believe, in 2025 or something like that.
okay,
So you're going to see that. I think you're going to see more WNBA teams open up. Like I think it'd be really cool to have one. And honestly, in Tampa, I think
yeah,
Tampa would have,
oh,
because it's
yeah,
such a big sports. I mean, we have the Bucks, we have
yep,
the is
hockey
it the
team,
Lightning, who
yeah,
is
the
the
Lightning,
NHL team,
yep,
and we have like obviously some really big like football programs, like Division 1 programs and stuff. I'm like, I really think that that would be like a sick spot
yeah,
to have a team and whatnot. So I think there's going to be more team and more talk of development, because the issue we're facing right now with the WNBA is there's too many talented players that don't get a shot.
yep,
We just don't have spots.
yep,
So I think that's like going to be huge. I think that's where we're going to see the WNBA grow. And then I just think it's following and overall excitement and overall appreciation. Because the biggest thing that we've had to deal with is like, oh, like they're just not fun to watch. Oh, this. But it's so funny to me that any true basketball enthusiast will say that the WNBA skill is unmatched.
yeah, yeah,
Like, and this is a hot take, but there's a lot of NBA players who skillfully are not as skilled as WNBA players. They're just freak of nature athletes
oof,
and can just explode and dunk and get by. Like their first step is crazy. But if you look, I would be willing to bet like shooting and ball handling, a
it's
WNBA
up there,
player can take them any day.
yeah,
And I know that people like the little 12-year-old boys who only like to see like the cool stuff are going to argue with me here, but at the end of the day, they're skilled. And what people don't understand is WNBA players and even top level college players are bigger than you think.
yeah,
These girls are 6'4".
yeah,
Are you They're 6'4" and they're thick. They're not twigs.
yeah.
So it's just like, dude, like I have a friend actually. I know I'm like going on a rant, but I
No,
have
you're
a friend,
good.
a really good friend who is a very talented basketball player. Like he has opportunities to go pro, and things like that. And he ended up going and playing for the Seattle Storm practice team. And he's like, these girls are dirty. He's like, they be elbowing, they're
Yeah.
physical, they're like beating up on me. And he's like 6'3" and a big dude, and he can go like play overseas for sure, or at least the G League. And he's saying that about the Seattle Storm. So I'm just saying, like, it's going to be more of an exciting game because people are going to realize the talent that these girls have for sure.
Definitely, I agree with that as well, and I think the big thing you said was just giving them more teams so that, because I mean, man, I don't, man, shout out to Paige as well too. You know, there are some young girls in college right now that are just hoopers, and I think that, okay, when we look at, you know, the talent that's coming from out of college, we still got women playing in overseas that are stars too,
Yeah.
that like they weren't able to make the cut on the WNBA because they don't have enough teams, enough roster space to do that.
Totally. Yeah, and like the financial side of it is like what's been the hardest part. That's why, we haven't had a lot of teams. It's just financially, but again, the more people that fit or fill the seats, the more people that buy the jerseys, buy the merch, all those things. Now it's actually too going to help those women not have to go overseas because a lot of the WNBA players have to go overseas to make a living,
Mm-hmm.
and they're actually playing more overseas than they are the WNBA. So the more financial backing, the more games they can play, and the more that we can keep them in the United States and kind of counter those contracts they get overseas too. That's a big thing.
Great points. Great points. Yeah, I think that the WNBA is definitely going to be one of those things that we're going to be watching just as much as we're watching NBA, just as we are now. And just to speak on just NBA and WNBA, I know coming up we have the All Star game coming up soon. And you know, prior to them announcing Steph Curry and Sabrina's 3-point contest, that wasn't even in the works yet, and it all came from Steph just talking pre-game shooting, just having a conversation, and like, you know, just mentioning like that would be cool if that was a thing, and just to see the NBA actually put that into the actual lineup of the All Stars weekend. I think it's so cool, and I think that's just a great opportunity for
Yeah.
everybody to see that, you know. And I think that's just so cool. But just your take on just them having that 3-point contest, and just anything that you have to say about that, you're good.
Yeah, no, it's cool. And again, I think the NBA players recognize the WNBA players more than we think. It just wasn't publicized. So for them to catch that, I think is super cool. And then put on a big show because it's kind of that thing where it's like I know obviously women are capable of being the same stage as men, but I also know that we have our own unique assets, you know what I'm saying? And so it's really cool that it's like it comes down to putting a ball through a hoop. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, if you can put the ball through the hoop, you can put the ball through the hoop. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? And I know that there was like comments on like, well, something about the ball, like something about it's different because she's shooting with a women's ball. I'm like, but that doesn't make any sense
It
because that's
doesn't.
what you're accustomed to. And Steph Curry is accustomed to a men's ball, and Sabrina is accustomed to a women's ball. Like it makes no sense. It's just can you put the ball through the hoop?
Yep.
And so I think that that's really cool that like some of the top shooters right now and in history are going head to head with it. And I just think too what I appreciate Steph doing is he's like, I don't care that you're a woman.
Yeah.
You're a hooper.
Yeah.
Point blank period. You're a hooper and we're gonna compete. And so it's not this thing of like, oh, I'm gonna take it easy because she's a
No.
girl. It's like hell no.
Mm-mm.
She's a shooter and
She.
she broke the record for the 3-point contest, man and women. Does not matter. She put the ball through the hoop. It's a 10-foot hoop
Yep.
and she put it through. I don't really care. I don't yeah, go ahead and argue with me on that. But like she did it. So I think it's cool that like the men almost are tearing down their pride a little bit. Not saying that they had it, but like they're not letting that pride of like, oh my man, like type of thing get in the
Yeah.
way. It's like Steph's competitive.
Yeah.
He's not gonna take it easy on Sabrina.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's just the fact that there are two hoopers competing against each other, and it's really cool that this opportunity is really happening.
But yes,
Absolutely.
so definitely, I know one of the biggest questions I wanted to ask you to kind of getting close to the closing of this episode, but the biggest thing I wanted to ask is, you specifically, how can we better support you and your vision, and to coincide with women's basketball vision? What can we do, myself and whoever else is listening? How can we better support you guys?
Yeah, no, for sure. For me specifically, like I just think, it'd mean the world if you like hop on to like my podcast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's Game Changers Podcast. We completely rebranded it. I had it was a different name and everything, but like season one we rebranded it, and yeah, I mean, or just share it. Like even if it's because again, my audience is really like, um, parents and players. Like that's like the conversations that I have. But I mean, I have really cool guests on there too that anyone can benefit from the conversation. We talk a lot about just like basketball, like skills, all that stuff, mindset, and then faith. So that's
Mm.
been a big part of my journey with coaching and playing. So yeah, you even if you know somebody that could benefit from the podcast, that would
Yeah.
be incredible. Gearing up YouTube and all the things, having a really exciting like camps this summer. So if anyone wants to get better at their game, me and another fellow um, woman trainer, we're going to be doing some really cool camps this summer and training resources. So yeah, that would be like the
That's cool.
biggest way of supporting my vision and what God's really been putting on my heart and stuff and downloading. So yeah, for sure that. And then just supporting women's basketball in general is like going to games. You know what I mean? Buying the merch, going to games. The biggest thing is like buying that ticket and showing up, whether that's from the high school arena, the college arena, the WNBA arena, because I know obviously the WNBA is only in like 13
Yeah.
cities or going to
I'm
be
lucky
like
to have
13
one in
cities or
Dallas.
something.
Yeah, I'm lucky to have one in Dallas.
Yes, yes, exactly. Yeah, which is super great. But yeah, like being able to do that, and just supporting because those ticket sales are more than like they mean more to us than and that support. And then again, like whether that's like following what your favorite players on social media and like having them get more recognition, again, buying their merch or jerseys and wearing it or sharing more about the WNBA. I think the biggest thing is it's in anything in any type of change we try to make. The people who are already bought in, they're bought in. We don't
Yeah.
got to convince them.
Yeah.
It's the people that aren't bought in yet or the people that need to make that switch, that really need that will make the biggest impact and the biggest difference. You know what I mean? So and then two, from just like a male standpoint, what I would like to see is them just recognizing game. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Being more open about recognizing the skill that women's basketball players offer, just letting these women know that they are capable, that, we as a whole might not be as athletic as men, right? Just we're built different,
Yeah.
and that might be a hot take, but I don't care. We're built different, but let's own what we have in our strengths that are different than men. Let's own that. Let's not be a victim. One of my friends actually said this, and I love it. She said, "Let's be a victor and not a victim of
Mm.
female anatomy." And I
Mm.
was like, "That is
That's
fire."
tough.
So as men and women, let's encourage that. Let's not try to be like the men. Let's not try to be like the women and
Yeah.
own it. So I think that if we have encouragement in that, that will be a huge thing for women's sports in general.
Definitely, man. That's so dope. I hope you guys heard that. There's some great points in this episode. But that's all great things. I just really wanted to take this time because I know I've been so focused on the NBA and like other things, and I just kind of wanted to switch gears a little bit, just moving forward and just having some different conversations, with people that actually understand the game the way that it's supposed to be. And I just say thank you for coming on the episode. I think it's just definitely going to be an ear for so many people to hear. And just sometimes it's just understanding where people are at, and understanding like, hey, like, this is all we're asking. Like, it's not like we're asking for the whole world. We're just asking for these specific
Yeah,
things. And that does a lot for,
totally.
for you guys. So yeah, so Jay, thank you for being here on this episode of 13. I'm gonna definitely put all her information in so you guys can tap in with her and her visions and everything that she wants to get going. And I'm telling you, Doc, she's gonna be famous one day, y'all. Y'all just pay attention, man. Pay attention. But
Thank
yeah, but
you.
yes, Jay, thank you for, I'm down to get on the episode. Just let me know. I'm down.
Yes,
I'm
please.
down to talk
Can we
game.
have we're having a collab? You're gonna be on Game
Yeah, come
Changers.
on, that'll be it. That'll be the episode.
Okay, let's do it.
Awesome, but yeah, Jay, thank you again for coming to this episode. This is episode 13. Just you guys like, comment, subscribe. We're gonna bringing you more content and more off-topic topics as well. I'm actually looking forward to that. But again, Jay, thank you. I'm gonna see you guys on the next one. Enjoy you guys' day. Yes, sir.